Hi, how are you? So tonight we're going to talk about course subjects. There's, of course, five subjects. We're not going to talk about every subject tonight specifically, but we're going to talk about tips and strategies that'll help you on all subjects, right? So I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. I'm expecting more people, but I'm sure they'll trickle in a little bit. Um, so Tonight I'll go over some free resources that you can do, and then I'll show you my course too that you might want to consider it if you don't already have it. So one second, let me admit people that are coming in. All right, so if we go to the free preparation manual, um, click on prepare, and then in the drop down, go down to course subjects, EC through 6, 391, right? And I bet you've already seen this, but I always make sure because sometimes I come across people that haven't looked at it yet. You can see the overview and exam framework, right? And they show you the standards and everything like that. And then up here, you can see that English language arts has 45 questions, math has 40, social studies has 40, science has 45, fine arts, health, PE has 40. There's some of them are going to be pilot questions that get thrown out. So there will be more than that on the I mean not all of them will count on on this test. Um, and you can see the amount of time you have for each, right? So you get an hour and 10 minutes for math, 50 minutes for social studies, 55 for science, 35 for fine arts, and I forgot to tell you ELAR is an hour, 10 minutes. So since we're going to talk about strategies that work for all subjects, I think the best way to do that is to talk about the situational questions, right? Those are those scenario-based questions that say something like, Miss Gonzalez teaches third grade. What's the best way to teach fractions? Have you guys seen questions like that before?
Yes.
Yes, they're on every subject and they can be very tricky. And I think they're hard because you can't really study for them, um, because it's not stuff you can memorize. Like, okay, we can memorize the court cases and the amendments, we can memorize the steps of photosynthesis, we can memorize things like that, but we can't memorize this. So tonight we'll talk about strategies. But now that we've got more people here, real quick, I wanted to do ask you guys before we get started, because I always like to make this a little bit friendly too and a little more interactive. So I know when I was preparing to get certified, I was super excited about teaching, right? And I wanted to know if you guys are really excited. I assume you're excited about teaching. Who's excited?
I am. I'm actually currently a teacher, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm doing the right thing so I can keep teaching.
Yes, keep your job. Yeah, I work with a lot of people that already are in the classroom and they need this to keep their job. And then I work with people that are not in the classroom yet. They're doing this to get their job, right? And no matter where you are, I can help you. I've even helped people that are on a waiver, meaning they failed 5 times, right? And they've tried everything else under the sun, all of the big programs. I don't have to say the names, you know who they are, right? Those big programs that have study material. And a lot of the programs are good. I've bought several of them, and I think many of them are really good. But what I think makes me different is I've taken the same test that you guys take, right? So I know how it works. And I don't have a PhD in elementary education or an EDD, I guess it would be, right? So I don't write in a real academic fancy style. I write in real plain language and I keep it concise, right? But I'm glad you're excited about teaching, Antoinette, that you're already doing it. Anybody else excited about getting a job or keeping their job? Let's see if people are putting it in the chat. Um, it's exciting, you know? So why do you guys want to teach? I honestly wanted to teach for kind of selfish reasons. I wanted a schedule that would work for my family. Maybe that's not selfish, but I did want to make a difference with students and all of that too, right? And I took that very seriously. but a lot of it was I wanted something that would work for my situation. But what about you guys? Why do y'all want to teach? Let's see. Make a difference. Yes, that's great. And I wanted to do that too. Love to see them learn. Yes. I love to see the progress. That's one thing I miss about not being in the classroom is the progress you see. I still see some progress doing this, right? People passing their tests, getting their job, but seeing a little kid learning how to read, there's really nothing more exciting than that, right? Um, so that's awesome. Well, that being said, it's exciting to get a job or keep a job, make a difference, all of these things, but these tests are not that exciting, are they? No. And I want to tell you something in case you've maybe taken the test and haven't passed it yet, that my opinion is these tests say nothing about what kind of teacher you're going to be, right? Because you could make a 290 on all subjects and be a pretty bad teacher because your heart's not in the right place, or maybe because you just don't have good classroom management, or maybe it's just not natural to you, you know? Or you might struggle and keep getting a 230 and be the best teacher. I've seen really good people in the classroom because I used to be a field supervisor, meaning I used to observe new teachers and give them feedback, right? So if you're not teaching yet, you might not know, but whenever you teach your first year, you're on a probationary certificate and you'll have a field supervisor that will come and observe you and give you feedback from your certification program. That's required. So I used to do that. And one lady that I wanted to observe had failed her test multiple times. And I knew that because I worked for her ACP. So I went in there honestly thinking she probably doesn't know her content that well, right? And I was floored that she was a very effective educator and did know her content. She's a really bad test taker, but she did pass after multiple tries. And got her standard certificate. It wasn't easy for her, but she did it. So I just want to give you some hope if you maybe have taken it and it hasn't worked out for you yet, that it really doesn't say anything about what kind of teacher you're going to be. But let's get started on the substance of tonight, and then we can have more interaction. Yeah. Why do they make it so hard? That's a good question. I don't know. I liked it the way they used to do it. The way they used to do it is, if you did really well in math and you didn't do as well in language arts, it averaged out and you would pass, right? So let's say you got a 250 and something and a 230 and something else. It averaged out. Now they make you pass everything. I know they want us to be good teachers and that's part of it, but some people speculate it's more about the money than anything else. I'm not going to say that for sure, but definitely money is one reason that uh, they that could be one consideration. But I think the main thing is they want to make sure we have highly qualified people in the classroom. But they don't always go about that in a way that makes sense to get the most highly qualified people, right? Because these tests don't really show us who's highly qualified. But for these situational questions, these are the ones that give you a scenario, and you have to pick the best way to teach a subject or to handle a situation, right? So anytime I see these questions, I ask myself three questions, and I did really well on the core subjects. I've passed, if you can believe it, I've passed 15 of these Texas exams now because I tutor for a lot of different tests. And some of my certifications require multiple tests, like the bilingual certification requires multiple tests. So anyways, I've passed a lot of these tests. And I always ask myself these three questions when I get to one that's a scenario, right? The first one, very obvious. Is this on topic? Right? So is the answer choice that I'm looking at addressing the question? And that sounds very obvious, but a lot of people don't do that, right? Okay, the second question I'll say is because usually there's two that are both on topic, or maybe even three, right? So you have two or three that are on topic. and you have to figure out which one's right. Well, the next thing you have to do is say which answer choice is most thorough, which one most completely answers the question. Okay. Well, sometimes you've got two or three that are on topic and are both pretty thorough, right? Well, then the last step is you say which one is most learner centered, which one has the students most actively engaged. And a lot of people get this backwards. They automatically go for the one that sounds most student centered, right? Because that's what we want to do. Everything should be student centered. But sometimes when we pick the most student centered option, it's not really related to the question, and they do it on purpose to throw you off, right? So we'll look at some examples today and some strategies. And what I love about this is going to help you on every subject, right? Math, science, social studies, language arts, fine arts, because these situational questions come up on every subject. So let's look at some questions, and then I can play a video. This is from my situational questions course. I don't know of anybody else that has a course like this where I teach you how to answer these questions, right? So we'll look at these, and then I'll play you the videos that go with it. And you might have my free version of this. There's a free mini version of it that has a few questions, but right now I have the full version open, and I'll show you what it's got. It's got 15 questions and videos, right? And then it has a 45 question situational questions test. So a total of 60 questions with 15 videos. But let's look at this. I'll let you guys answer it in the chat box, and then we'll talk about if you got it right or which one's right. So I know one person's answered. I wanted to give you a little time to answer if more people want to answer. Okay, so on this one, B is correct as Ashley, I think it was Ashley stated. Yes. So how did we know B is correct? Well, first of all, we have to know what graphophonemic awareness is, right? Otherwise, we're not going to get this right. Uh, so that's knowing that the written language or the written phonemes are related to the spoken sounds, right? So which one would best address that? Well, not teaching songs and rhymes, right? That would just be phonological awareness. So not that one. B, definitely. They're learning the connection between letters and sounds with this flip book, right? With the songs that has the words. Playing games and songs to teach individual phonemes and giving them, that's just phonemic awareness, right? Modeling each phoneme and asking them to repeat it. So the other ones are phonemic awareness. So this one is not as tricky as some because there's really only one that's on topic, but it could still be tricky if you didn't know what graphophonemic awareness was, or if you got off track and picked the one that had games and songs, right? Because games and songs sound more fun, right? But it's not about what's most fun. It's about what's most on topic. So now let's look at, whoops, question 2. Very well done. So for this one, D is correct because This one, it's specifically asking about kinesthetic learners, right? Kinesthetic learners learn by movement, by using their hands, right? So that's the only one that has a hands-on option. So now let's look at question 3. This one's not as situational. Let's keep going. Number 4 is a better one. So this one, um, let's look at each option choice, right? A, B, and C are all on topic, right? Option D might appear to be on topic, but it might not appear to be on topic, but it really is. Having a language-rich environment with word walls and a teacher that uses a wide vocabulary will help students learn new words. I never would have picked D as the correct answer when I read this question, right? But there's a similar question in the state preparation manual, and it says that a language-rich environment is the best way to help students learn unfamiliar words. So even though that doesn't seem like it's the most on topic, it actually is if you read the Texas preparation manual. And that's one other tip I want to give you tonight, a few tips, is to read over the free manual that I just showed you a little bit ago. The free manual, the same website where you go to register for your test, and look at all of the sample questions. They have quite a few for all of the different subjects. And I know that when I took my test, I saw some of the same questions on the real test, or almost exactly, maybe not word for word, but almost exactly the same. And that happened when I took the special education test too. So they do that sometimes. Now, there are different versions of the test, so I can't promise that will happen when you take it, right? But they'll at least be similar. They'll at least be very similar. And read through the rationales, because sometimes the rationales will teach you other stuff that might be on a different question. So that's super helpful. Um, but let's do another one. This one, I want to show you the video that goes with it because, so let me share my sound and I'll play you the video. That way you can see how this course works if you don't already have this.
A science teacher notices that students are struggling to understand a new text about cellular respiration. What is the best approach to help students understand the text? So, as always, we want to make sure we understand what the question is asking, and we want to know how to help students understand a new text about cellular respiration. So let's look at the options and see which ones are on topic. Option A, having students read the text silently and then read it again with a partner and look up words they do not know. This one is on topic, so we'll definitely keep this as an option. Option B, having students read the text and fill out a KWL chart. KWL charts are great for expository texts, and this is an expository text. So this one is also on topic and is a great option, so we'll keep this one as well. Option C, assigning students a text on the same topic that is at their independent reading level. This one is not on topic because it won't help them necessarily understand that new text that we're talking about. Just because the other text is on the same topic doesn't mean it'll help them understand that particular text that the question is asking about. So C is not correct. Option D, reading the text to the class and showing them how to use metacognitive strategies to check their understanding and asking students to volunteer to show how they monitor their own comprehension. This one is also on topic. So we have 3, A, B, and D, that are on topic. They're all thorough. None of them is particularly learner-centered, but B and D are more learner-centered because they have students actively doing something. So in option B, they're filling out a KWL chart. And in D, they're showing how they monitor their own comprehension. But if you notice, in option D, only some of the students would be doing that. So in option B, all the students will be filling out a KWL chart. And a KWL chart shows what they know, what they want to know, and then at the end, what they learned. So a KWL chart is the most effective. So if you have options that are all on topic, all thorough, all learner-centered, you want to choose the one that's most effective. And in this case, option B, the KWL chart is the most effective because it is an expository text.
All right. Anybody have any questions or comments so far about what we're learning? Do you think you'll be able to get some more of these questions right if you keep these things in mind? Do you think it's going to help you pick apart these questions? Good. Good. That's another thing that sets me apart because there are so many programs out there, right? And and I think they're really good programs, like I said, but some of them are overwhelming. Like I know I bought one and it was really good, but I was like, I don't know how I would ever finish it. It was so intense um, that I was struggling because they include way more than you need to know to pass, right? So I try to include only what you need to know to pass, right? And I figure a lot of the other stuff that's good stuff to know, you can study on your own if you decide to. But my goal is to help you pass the test. And you don't have to know all of the information that some of these programs put in there to pass the test with a good score, right? Because I had a good score. So I try to keep my courses very, yes, 240. I did buy 240. And I was very impressed with their plan to pass, and it's helped lots of people. I mean, but I just thought it was so much to get through. And I think that's what happens to some people is they don't get through it and they don't pass their test, right? But a lot of people use it and pass. So I'm not saying it doesn't work. It certainly works. Um, but I think a lot of people get overwhelmed and don't finish it, and then some of them end up buying my stuff and they do finish and they do pass. Now, I'm not going to say that people don't do it the other way around. Maybe some people use mine and end up preferring 240. That could happen. So I'm not saying mine is the only way to pass, but I have heard that from numerous people that they've bought other programs that didn't work for them. Or like I can tell you this because this was my firsthand experience when I took the special education test several months ago. And I bought a study guide by Mometrics, which is a big company, right? And they have good reviews and everything. And it was good information. It was all related to special education, but I noticed it wasn't closely aligned to the competencies from the state manual. And I thought, that's not going to help me pass if it's not related to the competencies, you know? So I didn't use it. I reviewed what I enough to know that it probably wasn't going to help me. And then I bought something else. And honestly, that one wasn't going to help me either. And so I did my own research by looking up the domains and competencies and descriptive statements myself. And then I passed. But that takes a lot more time, right? It takes a lot of time to do it that way. Um, but that's what I had to do. Yeah, well, I don't have my special education study guide ready. I'm working on it. I have a sample test for it, but I don't have the guide ready yet. But it's on my list of things to do. I'm working on it, and I think you're gonna love it once I get it done. But if you're in a hurry to take your test, I can tell you there's one company that I really trust their material, and I always recommend if I don't have something. So I have something for like STR. I have something for the bilingual supplemental, ESL supplemental. Most of the tests you would take, but the special ed, because that's the most recent test I took, I'm still working on it. But I like the material by passthetexas.com. They're a little bit less known than like 240 and Certify and stuff like that. But before April 2026. Oh, I'll have it done by then. I have a plan to have it done. I'm working on one competency a week. So I'm going to have it done in a few months at the most. April 2025. Yeah, I'll still have it done well before that, and you'd have time to study. So if you want to wait for mine, you can. But if you're in a hurry, then the passthetexas.com is I used them for lots of things before I had my own material, and I thought they were good because I thought they were kind of like mine, where they had what you need to know, but not a lot of extra. The only thing about them that I'd say is like, if you want quizzes and you want videos, at least when I bought it, it's been a while. They might have improved things by now, but it didn't have all of that when I did it. It didn't have quizzes, and my courses have quizzes, and most of my courses have videos too. All of my core subjects ones have videos. So let's see. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm glad you like them, Francis. That's awesome. Yeah, I've had great feedback from people about my courses, and I think people like the fact that I design it for what I always keep in mind is busy moms, because I'm a busy mom. So it works for busy dads too, or busy anybody. Um, and I guess it would work for people that aren't busy, but it's always made in mind for busy people that don't have time for all the extra stuff that you don't need to know, right? The other thing that I think is really helpful, because I'm always looking for free stuff to help you guys pass, right? Now, you definitely need a course or a book, right? So if you don't have a course or a book, I really think you need one to pass, or you do your own research, like I said, where you look up every competency, which takes forever because I've spent years developing my study material, right? But if you Google release star tests and just go to release star tests, for the newest versions, they make you get an account to log on. But if you go to the older versions, you can just click on the drop-down box and click on the math test form. That's where the questions are. And the math item rationales are the answer explanations. And then they have an answer key, but the rationales are better, right? This is very helpful for math, science, and social studies. It will really help you. The questions are very similar to what you'll see on your exam. It is not helpful for language arts. For language arts, it really is just reading comprehension test. And as you know, the core subjects is not just reading comprehension. So it won't help for that. It's also not helpful for fine arts because there's nothing for fine arts. But for math, science, and social studies, you can take grades 3 through 8, and they're all great. So for like science and social studies, they don't have it in all the grades, but for math, it's all grades. So like if you're struggling with math, you could start at the lower grades and work your way up until you get better. But you want to be able to do even up through 8th grade, even though it's an EC through 6 test. And we know that the questions get harder than that, right? It's not really an EC through 6 test. So to recap, anytime you see those situational questions, you want to say which one's most on topic, right? Which one's most thorough? Which one's most learner-centered? If they're all on topic, thorough, learner-centered, which one would be most effective according to your knowledge of research, right? So that will help you get more questions right. Any questions or comments or anything? No? And then I want to tell you that too, let me find it. 1 second. I'm going to give you guys access to my free mini course in case you don't already have it. Some of you probably already have it. If you follow me on Facebook, then you probably already have it because my social media manager offers it for free sometimes. So you might already have it, but in case you don't already have it, I want to thank you for coming and sticking around. So I'll be sure to do that. And then also, if you sign up for my courses today, I'll give you my free test anxiety course, my course for test anxiety free. And that's helped a lot of people pass too. So you learn how to answer, not how to answer, but how to control your nerves. So I'm going to give you the link for the free mini course. You can go to that and enroll for free. And then if you're interested in my courses, like I said, if you enroll tonight, then I'll give you access to my test anxiety course for free. And here's my courses for course subjects. And I think I have a question. So for the scenarios, as long as it's on topic, yes, Francis. At first, it has to be on topic. Then it needs to be thorough, right? But if it's on topic and thorough, then you want to pick the one that's most student-centered. So yeah, so if you enroll in any of my core subjects courses tonight, and another thing that makes it more affordable for you guys is if you would select Affirm or Afterpay, there's a payment plan option, right? That's only if you choose the one-time payment, not the monthly payment. There's a monthly payment option. There's a that's $39.99 a month, or you can pay $80 and get it for 3 months. So that's a better deal, right? And most people need to study for more than a month. So I would recommend you do the $80. But some people contact me only a few weeks before their test. So I have that option where you can pay for 1 month, $39.99. But if you select the $80, which I think is better for most people, select Affirm or Afterpay at checkout, and then you can break it down into interest-free payments over 4 months or 12 months with interest. So you could do that, and then I'll give you access to my test anxiety course for free if you enroll today. So that would be really helpful. It has a guided meditation and a thought replacement worksheet to teach you how to answer not to answer, but to calm your mind and stay focused while you study, but also to stay calm on test day, right? So one of my clients, she liked the course so much, she wanted to buy it for her son who's in medical school taking the MCAT, right? Because it's just general test anxiety tips. It's not specific to Texas. So, but because she's been such a good client and has bought several things from me already, I gave it to her for her son. But I thought that was so cool because I wrote it for you guys, and then it's even helping people take different tests. But that's pretty much it. So and then if you want the full version of my course subjects situational questions course, then I'll send the link for that too. And then this one would have all of the videos. This would be the full length version of it. So I gave you the access for the free one, but if you like the free one and you want the full version, you can enroll in that. And I think that'll really help you. And then that's about it. Any questions or comments or anything? No. Well, thank you guys so much. I love what I do, and I hope to help you guys pass and meet your goal. And and I'm excited to see that they're finally giving teachers raises, right? For many years, the pay was stalled out in the 40s, and now it's well into the 50s and even 60s for many districts. So they still have a ways to go, but it's such an improvement. Um, so I'm excited for you guys to get your dream job or keep it. But thank you so much. If you know anybody that needs my help, please feel free to send them my way because I'm always happy to help new people. And I hope y'all have a great night. Thank you.